Discussion on the minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. Department comments on agenda items. We've got Zach up first. Or Emily?
It's not Zach.
Good afternoon, council.
Welcome.
Yeah, Zach's looking a little different today. So Zach will be here tonight. I'm just filling in for today right now. So the first, we've got two items on your agenda tonight. This is an annexation, a proposed annexation that can be adopted by unanimous consent, and then the rezoning request that is in conjunction with that. So Graves Watkins is petitioning to rezone approximately 3.3 acres located at 9601 Highway 69 South from R1 to BN. As a reminder, when properties are annexed in, the default zoning is R1, so they're requesting to rezone to BN. So here's an aerial view of that. This is down 69 South, right across Highway 69 from the Winn-Dixie, and just north of Hinton Place. So here's a closer aerial view of that vacant land as it is today. And then the city limits, that is on the west side of 69 South. And a view of that vacant land. So the applicant is requesting to annex and rezone to BN to allow for access to city services for a proposed commercial development. So this proposed site plan, the subdivision to subdivide it into 3 lots, was approved by Planning Commission. This is not an exact site plan. They're not going to be held to this. This is just an idea for what it could look like. As of now, as far as we know, there aren't any tenants that have officially signed on to this property. This does align with framework. We did identify this as corridor commercial, and it was unanimously recommended for approval by Planning Commission. Here's that future land use character map. And then those permitted uses for the BN zoning district. Do you have any questions?
Questions for Emily?
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Is there one, did you say there's 2 items tonight, Emily, or just this?
Just those. So those are in conjunction with each other,
together.
the
Okay.
annexation and rezoning.
Okay. Mr. Mayor?
I don't have anything, but I believe we have 2 items for executive session.
Okay. Any other department comments or announcements? I didn't say earlier I'm not Kip Tyner, so. Mr. Tyner's fine. He had to go to Birmingham today, so I had to fill in. No other department comments. Agenda briefing with our city attorney, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have a couple items here for you today. I will start right below the item UD just went over on number 8 there, where on page 11, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, services from Direct Connect Cargo. This is a total of $16,400. This is a budgeted item that comes from purchasing. On page 12, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, services from Train. This is a total of $14,500 for a 10-ton split system HVAC for the airport. This again is a budgeted item that came from purchasing. On page 13, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, services from National Fleet Auto Group. This is a total of $49,341.36. This is for a crew cab for IT, and again is a budgeted item that came from purchasing. On page 14, you'll be authorizing the purchase of equipment, supplies, services at a total of $7,770. This is for equipment for TPD that again was budgeted and came to you from purchasing. On page 15, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a joint funding agreement with the University of Alabama for the Hackberry Lane to University Boulevard overhead to underground utilities project. This is a total not to exceed $1,700,811, with $1,200,811 of that being reimbursable. This was discussed last week in finance. On page 16, you'll be authorizing a disbursement from District 1 improvement funds for the Child Abuse Prevention Services of Tuscaloosa and Focus 50 Plus. This is a total of $1,263.29, and this was discussed in finance last week. On page 17, you'll be authorizing a disbursement from District 2 improvement funds for the West Alabama Multicultural Alliance Festival and Mind Changers Lock-In. This is a total of $3,000 and came to you in finance last week. On page 18, you'll be authorizing a professional services agreement with Duncan Coker Associates PC for professional engineering and related services for the Carlton Park Drainage Improvement Project. This is a total of $96,543, which came to you in projects last week. On page 19, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Straight Line Fence LLC. This is a total of $1,190 and came to you in projects last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with TTL Inc. for design services for the Buddy Powell Pavilion pickleball courts. This is a total of $196,000 and came to you in projects last week. On page 21, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with TTL for design services for the downtown YMCA pickleball courts. This is a total of $97,500 and again came to you in projects last week. On page 22, you will be authorizing a minor public works contract with Building Specialties Company. This is a total of $2,330.50. This came to you in projects last week. On page 23, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with MAG Contractors. This is a total of $2,431.18 and was on projects on March the 19th. On page 24, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a lease with John E. Walker IV. This is for a land lease at Tuscaloosa National Airport for agricultural use and was discussed in projects last week. On page 25, you'll be authorizing a professional consult and relating services with TTL for the Sabin Center total not to exceed $8,954, and this came to you in projects last week. On page 26, you'll be authorizing a professional consultant and related services contract with Duncan Coker Associates for the Sabin Center. This is a total not to exceed $14,821. This came to you in projects. We'll skip down past the item Ms. Hayes went over with you, and on page 30 through 31, you'll be adopting amendment number 1 to the FY24 General Fund Reserve for Future Improvements Fund. This was discussed in finance last week. On page 23, we'll be adopting amendment 13 to the FY24 General Fund Budget. This was discussed in in finance last week. On page 33, you'll be setting April 30th as a date for a hearing to consider improvement of development plan for the Druid at 219 Greensboro Avenue, Riverfront Zoning District Development. Again, tonight you are just setting the 30th as the public hearing for that. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions? Mr. Holmes?
Thank you.
Any other business to be brought before the council? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to enter executive session.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?